Good morning, Hoodie Priestess followers. How are you today? Right now I have sort of a loose agenda. I just want to have my coffee and talk and take a look at this Phantomwise deck with you. I've been doing a lot of readings with it, but just go through and look at all the cards. And I kind of want to talk about card meanings too. But these are all out of order. Boy, I wonder if I should put them back in order. I don't know. I'll have to stop the video and start again if I do that. Here's the Six of Swords. This one usually has a man or an angel ferrying across the water a woman. It looks like a woman and a child. This is all birds. And it looks like all the water is turbulent here. Here's the Fool card, down the rabbit hole. Sort of a Alice in Wonderland effect. And Justice. Now this is a really nice deck. I just find I get good readings here. And the first time I had this deck, I bought it off Temu. Oh boy, I don't buy stuff from Temu anymore. And I got a counterfeit, I'm sure, because it was a much smaller deck. It was made out of flimsy paper, and it came without a guidebook. This one's almost got like a plastic coating on it. Can you see close up? I don't know if you can catch that in this. There you go, right there. You can see like the texture, like a plastic texture that's over the cards. This is the Nine of Cups. But they are very shuffleable, and they hold up really well. But besides that, I get really good readings. Well, this card was created by a person named Erin Morgenstern. And Erin Morgenstern is also the author of the book, The Night Circus. If anybody's read that book, I would love to hear what you thought of it. I think about reading it myself. The Two of Pentacles. It's got little dogs in it. It's got cats in it. Like this one. Here's the Two of Wands. The cat sitting on a branch. Two wands are the two branches there. But anyway, Morgenstern was in the process of trying to learn tarot and had been at it for a while. I think this is a good segue into what I want to talk about today. Had been trying to learn tarot, had put it down and forgot about it and picked it up again a couple of times. Here's the Knight of Pentacles. And then finally made this deck, here's the Sun, in an effort to learn the tarot cards. What a good way to learn tarot cards, make a deck. This is Judgment. So this deck was created by somebody who was struggling to learn tarot. Or I don't know if it was a struggle or what. It was a process, okay? In the process of learning tarot. Here's the Five of Wands. Okay. So while we're looking at this, I want to talk about how do you learn tarot? How do you learn the meanings of all the cards? Well, it's a process. I need to have coffee. It's a process. If you're learning tarot, just immerse yourself in it and like focus on the journey more than how much of a success or failure you consider yourself for not being able to memorize the book meanings of 78 cards. The book meanings are good to have, but they only go so far. Tarot cards, each and every tarot card is so much more than the book meaning. Three of Swords. And here now I'll explain why. I'm going to try to give you a little example. The Chariot. The Chariot is a hot air balloon here. Interesting. So say, like, for instance, you take the word fun, F-U-N, and you go in the dictionary and you can look up a meaning and you can understand the definition of that word. And that's great to understand the definition of the word, but the dictionary will not give you all the little nuances of how that word is used when people are speaking and or writing or just communicating in general. Two of Cups here with bunnies. Isn't that great? I love bunnies in a cup. But say, for instance, you're talking to your friends and you're telling them, oh, my sisters and I went whitewater rafting last weekend, and boy, did we have a lot of fun. Is much different than if you're talking to your friends and you're saying, oh, my supervisor kept us in a 3-hour meeting to go over the budget, and boy, that was a lot of fun. So you can have a book definition of the word fun, and it's still not going to cover the way we use that word. Tarot is a language, just like that. Yes, you can look up the definitions, and do. If you're trying to learn the tarot cards, yes, pick up the book and look at the definitions, just like if you were learning a new language. Of course you're going to look that stuff up. And look in many books. Don't look just in one book, look in many books. And go on YouTube and listen to other people talk about what the meanings of the cards are. 9 of Pentacles here. Single woman, successful. And I will tell you, when I go on YouTube for card meanings, there's going to be a few that giving you like, oh, the meaning of such and such a card in 1 minute, or 2 minutes for the meaning of this, or the meaning of a card in 3 minutes. Those are fine. But myself, I would always go for the longer ones. I like the deep dive meanings. And I will list these in the description below, but some of the people who I really like to listen to are Marcus Veysey. And he has both long and short videos about the meanings of cards. So Marcus Veysey, Daily Tarot Girl, she does deep dives. Atypical Tarot, and Kippi's Quest. So how many was that? Marcus, Daily Tarot, Atypical Tarot, Kippi's Quest. Four sites that give longer meanings and talk about more different things and the history and how it means in different card decks that you'll pick up, and you get like a vast array. So yes, look at books, look at more than one book. 3 of Wands here, looking out at the sea, waiting for the ship to come in, because you're going to find different little nuances of meaning from one place to the other. Like basically they will all hold together. Like you're not going to find something probably that's wildly different than everything else, but there's going to be like different little details. But mostly just give yourself time to work with the cards and really look at the pictures. So I think reading the cards is just as much about looking at the story that the cards give you in pictures, like looking at a picture story and using your intuition. What is this a story about? Because all the cards, because you can have a definition of a card from a book, or even a definition that you heard someone talk about on YouTube. But the definition of that card is going to change in relationship to other cards that it's laying on the table with. So it's very much about seeing the story in pictures. Here's the Six of Pentacles. Six of Pentacles is mainly about, it can be about gift giving, it can be about generosity. It can also be kind of nasty. It can have equally a nasty meaning about not getting what you're worth, about somebody favoring somebody else more than you, about not being valued. It can be nasty in a karmic way, and it might be communicating you're getting what you deserve. You're getting what you deserve, you bastard. Well, how do you know which meaning it is? By the other cards around it, by the nature of the overall message that's being communicated. So it does go way deeper than definitions from a book, but it sure doesn't hurt to know the definitions of the book. Seven of Swords here. Is this a thief? Is this a liar? Is this somebody who steals from you in the middle of the night? Or is this one somebody who is being so mistreated by the people they surrounded themselves with that the only way out was to sneak out in the middle of the night? Is this a person who is being abused and needs to run away in cover of darkness and take only what they can carry? Is this a person who's been in a situation where the only good they're going to get out of it is the lessons that they've learned, and those lessons are being depicted by the swords that they carry? And how do you know what that card means? By the other cards around it, by the nature of the spread. Here's the Queen of Swords. Ace of Swords. I'm going to go a little bit quicker here. Queen of Cups. I'm actually looking for a couple of different cards because somebody asked me a question a while ago. Here's Death with the unseeable face. That now I have been taking my time to answer, but it's been on my mind. And that is, what is the difference between the Eight of Swords and the Nine of Wands? And I want to find them in here. And then we can talk about them. It's the Queen of Pentacles. Usually she's sitting in her garden with her bunnies. King of Swords. Page of Pentacles. This one you often see out in the field planting a seed. The Wheel of Fortune. The World card. Little bunny. There's bunnies. There's a lot of bunnies in this deck. Three of Cups. Like this card right here is interesting. It can mean celebration among friends. It can also mean your partner's cheating on you. There's a third party involved here. Or it could mean not exactly that your partner's cheating on you, but that there's some interference going on in your relationship. It could be somebody's a workaholic. It could be somebody's addicted to pornography. It could be somebody's using a substance. It could be so many things. Here's the Six of Cups. Here we go, finally, with the Eight of Swords. That's one of the cards I want to talk about. I'm going to set it over here. And the Knight of Wands. The King of Cups. The Emperor. The Magician. Is this a good guy or a bad guy? Is he a trickster? Can he really do magic? Interesting card, that. And here we have the Page of Swords. Here we go. Here's the other card I wanted to find. The Nine of Wands. There might be some others as I go through. So let's keep looking at Phantomwise. The Page of Wands. Seven of Wands, fighting everybody off, standing your ground, putting up boundaries. In some decks, it's talk to the hand. The hand is in the forefront. Five of Cups, the River of Tears. Sometimes this person is actually at a river. The Tower. Six of Wands, that old victory card, that old give me a little attention card. And Knight of Swords, too fast, too furious, drama, in a hurry, in a hot hurry. Ten of Pentacles. You got an abundance of something. Maybe you inherited it. Or maybe you're getting ready to pass it on to your younger generations. Okay. Ace of Wands. Ace of Wands, the good old Ace of Wands. Temperance. The Lovers. Aren't they sweet? Isn't this a nice Lovers card? I like her stockings. Ten of Wands. Ace of Cups. Empress. The Four of Pentacles. Is it the Four? No, it's not. It's the Seven of Pentacles. Sorry. Eight of Pentacles. King of Pentacles. The lovely, lovely Queen of Wands. Where's her black kitty? She usually has a black kitty with her, but not in this deck. Ten of Swords. There's another card I'm going to hold out and talk about. The Hierophant. The King of Wands. Yes. My personal king. The Eight of Cups. Walking away. Seven of Cups. Confusion, illusion, delusion, and distortion, or just daydreaming, or a lot on the mind. I don't know, it's Cups. It's about emotions. It's not really a Swords card. Not really about a lot on the mind. Here, I want to talk about Hanged Man special before I quit this video. And here's another card that I'm looking at. The Nine of Swords. I want to talk about that. Talk about High Priestess. The Hermit. I love the play of light. I love the light and shadows in this deck. Ten of Cups. Bunnies, tea, lots of tea. Tea in a fountain of cups and books. The Moon. Nice light and shadows in that Moon card too. Oh, and last but not least, the Four of Swords. Lots of nuance can happen with this card, with all of them really. Okay, let's pull out a few here and talk about it. Hanged Man. I'm going to talk about Hanged Man. So go ahead if you're interested and look up the meaning of Hanged Man in all kinds of places. In more than one book. Look on YouTube videos, long or short, whatever you like. And I bet you just about all of them are going to at least mention that this is a person who is trying to get a different perspective. And they put themselves in a position where they can spin around and see the whole world around them. They can get a big picture, but also since they've turned themselves upside down, their perspective is different, probably from everybody else's, and also different than what it was before they hung themselves up. So the big deal about the Hangman, the big deal is that this person is getting a different perspective. And then you have other meanings, that this is a card of sacrifice. Because this person, why? Because this person has stopped all activity. They have brought everything to a halt. And they said, I can't go any further until I have a better understanding. So I'm sacrificing everything that I do. I'm sacrificing myself to stop and get a better understanding. This is a card of watching. You will hear that. Okay? Well, if a person's hanging by one foot and they can turn all the way around and their whole purpose is to get up there and have a look, yes, they're watching. So depending on what reading you're in, this could be a way of somebody's really watching you. There's a couple cards in the tarot deck that indicate you're being watched. This is a heavier one. Now, one thing that I have adapted into this card, and I haven't heard any other tarot reader attach a surveillance meaning to it. But to me, in some readings, like if I've got a reading on the table that indicates somebody's in an abusive relationship or that somebody's being trafficked and the Hangman pops up, I might think of stalking. I might think of surveillance cameras, the abuse of surveillance cameras. But it depends on what reading I'm in. Do I always think of that when Hangman comes up? No, I absolutely do not. That's just like the death card. Every time the death card comes up, do you think somebody's going to die? About 90% of the time, no. Death is about compost. It's about regeneration. It's about an ending, but simultaneously a beginning. It's about deconstruction. If you put it together with some other cards, then possibly, yeah, it can mean a death of somebody permanently. Now, let me talk about, so the person wanted to know what is the difference between the Eight of Swords and the Nine of Wands. And I also have pulled out the Ten of Swords. These are the heavy cards. And boy, I don't know if I can hold them all. Nine of Wands, Ten of Swords, Eight of Swords, and then over here we've got Nine of Swords. These are all really heavy cards. Yeah? But what do they all have? Most of them have the vertical lines going up and down. This one's got horizontal lines. And especially now, if I'm doing some kind of reading where these cards are coming out in close proximity to each other, like they're laying on the table together, where you're looking at them all together, like the pictures in them are working together to convey a message. I just want to ask you, what do you think about when you see all those vertical lines? Do you think about jail cells? Do you think about prisons? Do you think about prison bars? Here's one where the lines are running vertically, or horizontally, I'm sorry. These are all pretty stressed out cards. These are cards of trauma. Now, swords are the cards of the mind. They're about the things of the mind. Now, the wand is a card about doing. Swords are the things that we think, the things that we know. The wands are the things that we do. In this card, the Eight of Swords, okay, what's the difference between the Eight of Swords and the Nine of Wands? The Eight of Swords is a person imprisoned, trapped by their own thoughts. Either they're thinking obsessively about something and they can't stop, or they won't stop. The thing about the Eight of Swords is, yeah, you can stop if you want to, The truth is you won't. Okay? So this can be thinking obsessively. This can also be the way that you think about something is entrapping you. You're being held a prisoner by the nature of your beliefs. I'm not good enough. I believe that I'm not good enough. I believe that I'm not pretty enough. I believe that nobody ever really loves me. They might say that they do, but they're lying. That's a belief system, a thought system that entraps you and has a very real effect on your life. Or I'm obsessed about someone or something, and I can't stop thinking about them, and that entraps you too. Because while you're doing that, there's so many other things that you're not doing. You are trapped. 8 of Swords is a card of imprisonment. Now, if I were doing a reading not about, sometimes this can actually mean prison. Like prison, somebody's going to prison, or somebody's in prison. How do you know that? How do you know if it's about somebody actually being in prison or just somebody who's in prison by their thought? Well, it depends on what's going on in the reading, right? That's how you know. Did we have a lot of fun going down the river? But boy, it was fun listening to her talk for 3 hours. That kind of deal. 9 of Wands. Okay, so this is the card of doing, things that have been done, things that we do, things that others have done. This is a soldier. This is a soldier that is so battle-worn. And depending on what deck you're looking at, he looks pretty good in this deck, but sometimes he's all beat to hell. Scratched up, dirty, clothes torn, bandage on his head. He's wounded. He's also known as the Wounded Warrior. Could this be an actual soldier? Sure, it could. Or could it be somebody who doesn't give up? Somebody who's been through hell, but they're still standing there doing their job. They've still got their battle. Maybe this is a symbol. Those 9 wands are a symbol of all the battles they've fought in. Maybe it's a wall they've put up or a boundary. Maybe it's somebody who's been so traumatized in their life that they're now carrying a lot of baggage. It might be somebody who doesn't let other people get very close to them. They have a boundary. They've been through a lot. It could be somebody who's just got a lot of determination. You want to get the job done and get it done right? Tell that person to do it. They don't give up. They won't quit. Even when the times are hard, they're going to keep going. Okay? So that's the difference between the 8 and the 8 of Swords, 9 of Wands. Oops, sorry. Here's the 10 of Swords, more vertical lines. This is something. This is some terrible treachery or betrayal that's been done to you in the past and has left a scar on your mind and the way you think. Okay. It could also be you telling yourself a victim story, okay? It can be you being a prisoner of a victim story. What if you saw these two things together? Might you say that somebody is kind of imprisoned by something terrible that happened to them in the past, and or the way they perceive that thing and continue to perceive it, even though they could make a choice to work on perceiving it differently? See, the thing about the 8 is that her hands are so loosely bound. She's got a blindfold on, okay? That's the really big thing about the 8. But her hands are so loosely bound that if she wanted to, really, all she has to do is reach up and take that blindfold off. She's not being forced to stay this way. She's staying this way because she's choosing not to change it. So it's a trap you could let yourself out of. Here's vertical lines. This is a state of being, you know, so stressed out or having so much on your mind that you can't sleep. Hopefully this could represent insomnia too, but hopefully it's a state that passes quickly. So that's my discussion about these. What we looked at, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We looked at 5 cards here, sort of in depth. You could do that for the whole 78. I won't though, because you've got other things to do, right? Besides sit here and watch this video. So I hope that I've answered that question. Please let me know in comments if you have anything else you'd like me to talk about. And I will put the references to the people who I like to watch in the, I'll find out what the name of their channels are and I'll put them down in the description, okay? All right. Happy learning about tarot. Don't be in a hurry. It's a process that happens over time. I've been reading tarot cards for about 30 years. And my understanding of cards has changed a lot in 30 years, and it continues to change. Your understanding of cards will change also by how the world changes around you. I didn't always see a possibility of surveillance when I looked at Hangman, because we didn't always have that much surveillance. But surveillance is everywhere now. It's very much a part of our world. So the cards can change in that way too. Like I said, they are a language. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you for supporting my channel. I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.